Okay, let's get let's get to business here. So today we're hopefully some of you have already heard about our app called Open Book, but if not, we'll be introducing it to you today. So we're going to spend just a little bit of time. I'm going to talk about what Open Book is. We're going to try to stream a video. Hopefully, it'll work. We're going to talk about some of the topics and the modules that are available in Open Book. We're going to talk about a new aspect of Open Book. We're offering some certificates of completion for multiple modules as well. And then we're going to turn it over to Nick, and Nick's going to go right online, going to go right into the learning management system and just show how easy it is to use and kind of, how it works right off of millerwelds.com. So we're going to jump right into it. And if anybody has any questions, I would just ask you to chat if you can, and we'll try to pick those questions up at the end. I think we'll have maybe 10 minutes or so to review some of those questions. So what is Open Book? It is a free, I've got my Starburst there on the side. That was, I was supposed to add free to that and I forgot to do that, but Open Book is a free learning management system. It started out as free and it will continue to be free. It is it's materials, and we'll go through what those are, but it helps and it fits your curriculum. There's learning objectives and all types of things, including modules. We've got over 65 modules. We have a weld lab that we have developed and that you are able to develop. All of the activities that we have developed are compatible with our training solutions, which include our augmented reality machine, our augmented arc, as well as our live arc, which is the motion tracking device, which you can get information on those online at millerwelds.com. We also offer within Open Book a course, a quiz, and a lab builder, which enables you to create your own content as well. What's nice about the Open Book, it is a learning management system, so you can track all your students' progress. That's the really nice thing about Open Book, and again, it's free. It also aligns with AWS standards, Ascent standards. So if you have questions on that, we do have documentation in regards to how it does align with Sense. Open Book was intended really as another way to deliver our content that Nick has created over the years in book form, but to deliver it to students in today's world, to motivate them a little bit more, engage them at a higher level with interaction and stimulating learning activities that the younger generation love and gravitate towards. So we've tried to make it into digestible, smaller segments, quick segments that this next generation likes to learn in that capacity. We also offer Open Book in a mobile-friendly app. So you can use your phone. Students can pick up their phone. They can go right into Open Book, watch their modules, take their quizzes, and do that right on mobile. So we've worked very hard to make that available as well for students. So I'm going to try to run this video, and I hope that it works. If it gets really bad, we'll just run it all the way through because the audio does run properly. So if it's all choppy, just listen to the audio because it does a great job with covering the value proposition and the value of Open Book.
Before Miller, I was a high school tech ed instructor here in the state of Wisconsin. We didn't have the budget for me to purchase materials. I spent the evenings scouring the internet for resources that I could use in my classroom.
I was pulling stuff from YouTube. I was pulling stuff out of magazines, catalogs, anything I can get my hands on, because at the end of the day, you don't want to spend money on a $300 or $400 textbook just for a single student. That was a big part of my job as compiling the curriculum.
But we wanted to bring something to those instructors to make their life easier and to help them teach their students. That's where Open Book came from. Open Book is a learning management system for tech, college, and high school instructors. We have e-learning modules. There's also 24 pre-canned welding labs that an instructor can choose from.
OpenBook is so flexible.
They can customize the experience for their students depending on the needs of their local market and the curriculum that their state deems that they should be teaching.
We get different learning levels, so we have to tailor each class to the learning needs of each one, and that's where OpenBook becomes useful.
You can do it on a computer, a tablet, a laptop, even my phone. Super easy to use.
It's the way this generation is learning, and it ties directly into the way they like to learn.
I'm not much one for reading, so it's nice to just sit back and relax, and you can just watch the videos and you can learn from there.
The accountability of the student was a huge piece of OpenBook.
I know exactly how long that kid's been on the computer, as long as the computer's set up that long. I know if that kid sat there and looked at it for 5 minutes, I know he didn't make it through the whole textbook.
You know, there was one instructor who could barely get 25% of his students to complete an assignment through OpenBook. 100% of the students were completing the assignments.
Free is the best part. We're in a time right now where funding for public schools, colleges, that kind of stuff is tough.
And we really decided that we could make a huge impact by making it available for free.
OpenBook's an absolute game changer for educational institutes like ours. And OpenBook has really just freed me up to, spend more time one-on-one with the kids. Everything that you need to cover the content that you want kids to know is going to be right there.
Okay, so hopefully that wasn't bad. I think it at the end it started to come back, and it actually didn't skip too much. But that really encompasses really the value of OpenBook, where it allows instructors to use these topics and modules to really support their curriculum that they already have, say NCCER, or if you're using Cengage or something other than the Miller OpenBook, you can use these modules to support your curriculum and do it on an off or out of the classroom experience. Either ask them to do it at lunch or at night, and they're able then to watch these modules, take the quizzes that are embedded, or knowledge checks as we call them, in each module, or you can develop an extensive quiz if you would like to in regards to the content. So you can see here that we have over 75 modules, and Nick is continuing to build more topics and more modules. I think the next one that's on the list is flux core welding. But again, this is just a quick overview. We do have, and Nick will show it to you, we have this list with an estimated time that it would take students to actually go through these modules as well. So I was talking before with one of the instructors that was on that, if you're not an instructor that has, a semester or 2 semesters of welding, this can really support whatever you're teaching in a small 2, 3, 4-week class. You can support it with these modules that your students can watch and do the knowledge checks outside of the classroom. So it really doubles up on that knowledge building of welding specifically. So one of the nice things that Nick has put together in just the last few months that we just introduced is certificates of completion. We're offering 5 of those, 4 Miller completions and 1 Hobart filler metal one. And how it works is that if your students take 15 modules that are the intro to welding modules, they will be able to print out a certificate of completion for those modules. And Nick will talk a little bit about how you can customize that as well. But this is something nice for you industrial arts teachers or your ag teachers. This is a way to give your students, a certificate. I call it a resume builder, if you will, that is, with a recognizable name in the welding field, which is, of course, Miller Electric. So Nick, again, will talk just a little bit about that as he shows you how to use OpenBook with his account. The last thing I just want to touch base on, this is actually our instructor page. So, after we're done here, I'd encourage you to go out to millerwelds.com, go on to industries, and under industries, there is a welding training and instructor page. Once you open that page up, this is only half the page, but you will see the open book tile here. When you click open book, that is where you can register for open book. But I want to show you here presentations and quizzes. So we offer presentations for every one of our modules. So if you have your students taking these modules off outside the classroom, you can at certain times open up these presentations and use those presentations to guide you in a conversation about those particular learning modules that your students have taken. So we offer a kind of a complete package. And even underneath this, which you can't see, there's a tile for the books that Nick was talking about. Now, there is a cost for the books, for the content of the books, but they are also offered in ebooks. In most cases for free. If your student has an Apple product, those are free downloads. If they have an Android, there may be a cost to some of those books to download, no more than $2 for a download. So I will now turn this over to Nick. Let me stop my sharing and we'll go right into the live demonstration. And again, if you have any questions, please put those in the chat and we will try to address those when we get done here.
So hopefully you guys can see my meeting okay. I can see you, Steve. You see my screen all right?
Just do a nice slow presentation, Nick. Thanks.
Yep, but you can hear me okay and see me okay, right?
You bet.
Just before I dive into Open Book, just to show you the live screen that Steve was just talking about, in the Industries button here on millerwelds.com, the Welding Education and Training link brings you to that page. That page, certainly these training materials, I'll just open them in another tab really fast. And the quick presentations and quizzes, I'll also open another tab fast. Why do you have to get in my way, Zoom? Always, Zoom is in the way. So here's the welding, the materials, so you can find to get them on Amazon or Apple. They're all free on Apple, mostly free on Amazon. Amazon forces a charge and has eventually recognized that they were free on Apple, so Amazon finally made them free. So, but the booklets themselves, you can get paper copies. Those do have a fee. They're printed in time. They've also been translated into Spanish, and it's a generic Spanish, for lack of a better term, but it could help for Spanish speakers. But again, these are not EPUBs. They're print only, and they do have a fee with them. But if you want paper copy, you pay for them. Electronic copies are almost all free. The presentations and quizzes, not everything is the same as Open Book, but these all align directly. These presentations all align directly with the Open Book modules. They're not exact alignments, but they're pretty darn close. But again, it's about, they read the material in a book, they watched the e-learning module in Open Book, and then you recapped with this presentation in class. Now they got it 3 different ways, and out of those 3 different ways, hopefully they're going to retain what you want them to retain. So just another opportunity. And then this quiz, it's basically the same questions out there. They can kind of keep practicing them. But you'll also notice in all of our quizzes, we tell you the right answer. So on their second attempt, they should have 100% if they paid attention on the first go around. So let's dive into Open Book really quick. And with Open Book, there's a few things about Open Book. Just trying to get Steve out of my corner here a little bit. So with Open Book, you have to first create an account. So if I simply get to openbook.millerwelds.com and I don't have an account, I need to request organizational access. This is for a dean or an instructor. It's not for students. You do this once. And in that process, you may have had to create your new account by putting in your email, first name, last name, password, choosing whether or not you want to receive any newsletters, agreeing to the privacy policy and agreeing to the terms of use, submitting it, and then it sends a form for you to tell us your school name, et cetera, et cetera. Then it goes to us. We search for We make sure you're legitimately a person from that school requesting that organization, that there's not duplicate organizations, and then we go ahead and approve you. So in order to start your organization, you must use your school email address. So we're looking for, calpoly.edu. We're looking for asu.edu. If it's a Yahoo, a Gmail or something, we're going to decline you immediately because we're not going to establish a new account with a generic email account. It's just not going to happen. So, but once your organization's established and you became the administrator, you now have the keys to your organization within OpenBook. You have the keys to the kingdom at that point. So let me just sign in and pretend I've gone through that whole registration process. Everything's cool. Even if I didn't get an email, I come in here and I'm like, I wonder if that took. So I'm just going to log in as my administrator account here. And lo and behold, it showed up. You don't need any confirmation emails. You don't need anything. If we approved you, it's tied to your email that you used to register your account. So once you're in, you're in. This is what it looks like for an organization administrator. You have two roles immediately. You're both an administrator to control everything. You're also an instructor because you need instructors to deploy classes. So you get both roles right away. Your company name, of course, is listed at top. If you had a campus site, that's listed just below it. I can edit my company. Sorry, I accidentally zoomed there. I can edit my company name. See that little deal right there? I can click that and edit it. I'm not going to take the time to do that at the moment. But the biggest thing, the most important thing you need to know about OpenBook, if you're stuck, hit the help button. Help button, we spent a lot of time and effort and resources to build this page. Every single one of these questions is answered with steps and probably a short little video clip. How do students access OpenBook? This is how I do it. Hopefully you can hear that. I don't know if you can. Probably can't. But you get the idea. A little 40-second video clip showing you what to do. If you need to make it big, you can make it big. If you want to play it fast or slower, you got options. But simply go to the top of the page. This should pretty much answer any question any role has about OpenBook. Coming back to the home page, so I can hit that home button. I can hit the Miller icon. Those are both bring me home to this home location for an administrator. Administrator sees create and edit courses. We have a learners tab, tells me who all my learners are, an instructors tab, an administrators tab. Now keep in mind, all of these are empty when you first come in. I have data in here. I needed to put data in here so I could show you guys some things rather than take the time to register it all and bring it all through. But it's pretty simple stuff. So let's just pretend, well, before I do that, just to give you a quick tour, this Gradebook tab tells me the course that I'm assigned as an instructor, and this is the section I'm assigned as an instructor. And I simply click on that and I land on the Gradebook. Here in the Gradebook, I can sort by first name, sort by last name. I can look at metrics for all of my students in ARC transfer modes. I can see, hey, I have 4 people assigned, there's 7 questions. I can start to get my item analysis to see if my questions are any good or if I'm teaching my questions, etc. If I want to take it a step further, I can dive in here and say, how did student 1 do? Well, student 1 didn't answer those questions right. As a matter of fact, I notice here that student 1 only spent 1 minute doing this module. They must have just skipped right to the questions and didn't even bother watching the module. So maybe I just need to delete this student attempt, but keep in mind, even though I deleted this attempt, the last score will always be visible in the Gradebook. So even if there's multiple attempts, collapsing that window, you'll see more attempts all underneath here, and I can expand those windows and see other attempts. So there's a lot you can really drill down. So for example, as well, if I'm editing this course and I am looking at the tools of that course and I select view metrics, at this course builder level of viewing the metrics, I can see how every student in my entire organization ever answered this module. But I can also dive down here and look at the individual details for those students, but I can also look at them as a group, as a section, how they did. These happen to be the same numbers because I only have one section, But when you start to have multiple sections and multiple users, this becomes pretty useful to start to identify how your quizzes, how the modules, how your teaching is tracking with how these students are answering the questions. If I come back home again, so that's just a quick kind of layout of the land. Gradebook gets me to my gradebook quickly. Create and edit courses really kind of does the same thing, but it lets me add new sections. It lets me edit the course. It lets me add more courses. Learners tab, I can manage my people where they are. My instructors tab, I can invite new instructors. I can also invite new administrators. Again, administrators can do all of these things. Instructors are very limited. An instructor page will only see this gradebook tab and will only see their profile tab, because an instructor is really only monitoring student progress and managing what students are in that course section or that class that that instructor is assigned to and is managing. But the organization administrator can do everything. But if I want to invite new instructors, I simply click that button. It just gave me a 15-minute URL. So that key is only active for 15 minutes from the second that I clicked invite instructors. So I need to copy that link by clicking that button. Or if I click this send email button, it'll open up an email, put in text for me in my computer's default email system. If that does not work for you, you need to have your IT get that set up for you. We can't help you there. But simply, it just opens up my Outlook, creates an email, puts all the data in, and now I just send it to someone. So you can either copy and paste that to get it to them, or you can send that as an email to get it to them. But adding an instructor or adding an organization administrator, this key will expire in 15 minutes. But so let's go back and let's think about learners a minute. So I've created a course and I have a section, and I go into this section. In this section, I can invite learners. Here I can send them an email, or I can copy that link. What I do, I also teach at Arizona State University, I mentioned. So I simply create a page in my Canvas that shows them a couple links to some help videos. But here's that course section link for my basic electricity course. Here it is for my SMAW course. Here it is for my GMAW course. So I need to set this up each semester because I created a basic electricity course that had the modules I want them to do. Then I created fall 20 or spring 2020 section, and I had my spring 2020 students click those links. Now I've created an additional one for fall 2020. So now in Canvas for my fall 2020 class, I've updated all of those links. So you can deploy it through an LMS system by giving the students these links to self-register themselves, or send it to them in an email. But remember, this link does not expire. As long as someone has that link, they click it, they're in your section as a learner, period. So keep it in a secure site, give it to them in a secure way, or you have to begin to manage things separately. But in this gradebook too, there's lots of awesome things. Remember I was talking about item analysis way back in the course edit zone? But from here in the gradebook, again, I can view their attempts here. I can edit their score. I can click this header, and by clicking that header, I'm just looking at the metrics for everybody in this course section that ever took it. I can go back in the gradebook. As the gradebook builds, we can scroll right and still see our student names, hence this kind of weirdness going on right here. But I can manage learners. Simply, I can start to remove people by clicking the red X. I can add existing learners. If I have other people in my organization, they're going to show up here. I can search for them, control how many I see, simply click a plus symbol. I add them, I save it. I've added them to my club if they're already been assigned somewhere in my organization. If they've never been in my organization, the best way, always, go into a course section, invite learners, give them that link. All they have to do is click that link, either create an account or sign in, and boom, they show up in the gradebook as a learner. They are now a learner in your organization. But if I don't like them as a learner, hey, I can come in here, I can say, you know what, this person now is an administrator and an instructor and is no longer a learner. I save that, done deal. I don't want to do that right now, so I'm just going to go back quick. But I can change roles for anybody on any level just by clicking the tab, clicking their name, checking the boxes. Quizzes, I can look at my quizzes and edit them and make quizzes. If I click this quiz, you can see that we have a WYSIWYG editor we just added, so now I can do hyperlinks. So now a quiz could actually be a lesson. And you can say, watch this video, click here. Don't care what they watched, as long as it's appropriate, right? And then they can come back and start to answer all the quiz questions you made regarding that video you had them watch, or that web page you made them read, or that article you had them go to, or wherever on earth you decided to point them. Hey, now you just made a quiz. You've turned this quiz into an actual exercise or a lesson versus just a quiz. So the flexibility is there now to use the quizzes as more than just a quiz. So really fast, if I want to add a course, let's talk about these predefined courses a minute. So here we have our Hobart course, Miller, these Miller courses. We've pre-curated these courses, and we've taken not just the gas metal arc welding modules, but all modules that we feel were relevant to gas metal arc welding. And there's about 13 of them or more. I can't remember, maybe there's 15 for this one. But let's just say I wanted to add this Miller course. I'll click Add Course. It automatically created a section for me. I need to invite or add learners now. So really simply, if I hit Manage Learners and I hit Add Existing Learners, you can see, hey, I've already got these learners in my organization. I can simply add them to this club. Really easy. Select Save. They're now in my gradebook. I can invite learners, same thing, like we talked about. I can check the boxes and I can email selected learners. I can click that box and it'll automatically put all their email addresses in a blind box for me, or I can copy these and paste them into an email if I want. So a quick way to communicate with your students. I can download a CSV of the gradebook so that I can use that CSV file to import into my Canvas or Blackboard or whatever my LMS's gradebook is if I so choose to do that. And that's up to you and your LMS administrator to figure out how you're going to point your CSV in the right direction to communicate with your LMS's gradebook. CSV is pretty straightforward. It's like a spreadsheet of your gradebook. You just point the headers in to tell your LMS system what it means. I can edit this section. I can give it a name. Let's just say Fall 2020. I can maybe give it some more description. I can assign instructors. I select Save. Brings me back to the gradebook always. I can edit the course. I come in here. Now the Miller courses, you cannot edit the grade, the passing score, and you cannot edit the attempt limits. You can preview the module. You can't reorganize anything because our Miller courses are our courses and we've pre-selected what the requirements are to earn a certificate of achievement that has a Miller and a Hobart logo on it. But if I want to create my own course, simply add a course, select build a new course. Certainly I need to name it. So we'll just call it testing, what are we at, 21st today. I can give it some text. Notice this description, this is what will show up on my student's certificate of achievement. So we'll just hit save. Hey, there's nothing added. What do I want to do? Do I want to add modules? Do I want to add labs, add quizzes? Do I want to add an organizational lab? An organizational lab is one that you created. So I can click those links quick, or I can simply hit this drop down. What do I want to do? Let's add a learning module. Well, hey, here's all these learning modules. Let's just do transfer modes. I like transfer modes. I just start typing. Hey, look at that. Hey, what's that look like? Let me preview it. It's going to open it up. You probably can't hear it because I'm using headphones. Got to get through the safety slide. Waiting. I don't know if you guys could hear or not, but now we're into this module. I'm going to do this. Well, I don't know how I can make you hear it.
You
Darn
can't,
it.
we cannot hear it, Nick.
Yeah, you cannot. Yeah.
Nope.
Nick, when you go to share your screen, there's a little box at the bottom that says share computer audio. So you'd have to unshare and then click to reshare your screen, I think, with computer audio.
Yeah, it's going to be ugly, but you guys can play with modules all you want. It's pretty straightforward stuff. They've got videos. They've got all kinds of awesome, engaging ways. The outline here on the left, this is the script. So that accounts for, this has all been through ADA readers and computer screen readers and the whole 9 yards. Everything is ADA compliant. And this here accounts for closed captioning. You need an alternate way to read the text, and that's what this does on the left. When this was developed, closed caption was very, very difficult to incorporate into a module. Now the tool is available, so eventually we'll slowly get closed captioning going, we hope. But this does suffice for the closed caption aspect. This outline lets me navigate through things. This is where a student might be able to just jump right down to the quiz and go ahead and pass the quiz ahead of time. It is what it is, unfortunately, but we want to have that flexibility for folks. And plus, again, when you take the quiz, we tell you the right answer. So their second attempt should give them 100%. If I come back to here, if I add that to the course, you can see it added it behind me. So we were just previewing the course fast. I added it behind me. If I just said GMAW, so anything that had anything to do with GMAW just showed up. You can see there's 15 entries. So maybe I want to add that one and add that one. And I close it. You can see they are now behind me. I select save and it just locks them in. But now it's like, well, you know what? I think I want you to see history and overview first. Drag that into place. I can change the passing rate. You can choose to add attempt limits. So 1 attempt limit, hey, that's it. You got 1 shot and done, right? And they can take it more times, but it only counts the first attempt, and that's it. You'd have to delete attempts for them to retake it. But again, I can drag these in order. I've got tools to view the metrics or remove the item. I can save it. Now I can continue to add labs. So here's our pre-curated labs. Can preview one quick. There it is, simple PDF. Looks like a WPS that looks like the live arc input screen. If I simply add it to the course, let's just find a short circuit horizontal T-joint. I added that to the course. I closed it. I can add more content like a quiz. Here's my quizzes that I've already built. Hey, let's add that one. Close, save it. I can change again my order. I can change my passing rates. I can change the attempt limits. But then I got to have a section. I need to add a section. I need to give it a name. I probably want to make sure that I label it so that I can find it again. I need to give it, I might want to change its description. I may need to assign different instructors. Start date, it's going to start today. If I set this in a future date, it's not going to start till that future date. So if a student can't see it, you need to check your start date. You also need to potentially check your end date. So if I put the end date as yesterday, we're never going to see this thing. So leaving the end date blank will always make it visible. I typically leave it blank personally. So
Hey,
I
Nick,
select save. Yep.
can you just run over a high level again, the difference between the course and a course section before you start getting into the section?
So the course contains all of your content. The course section contains your group of learners. So if I have period 1, it's period 1, period 2, period 3, period 4, or in my case, I teach by semester, spring and fall. So I'll just separate it by fall 2020. If you really want, put them all in the same section. Now you have a massive gradebook that's huge and hard to manage. So a section separates your groups of students. And you can't teach a course without a section. Again, the course is your high-level content. So if I go to the home page, you can see we just created this course. If I open it up, it has sections below it. Editing the course edits, what do I want them to watch? Editing the section, who do I want to have watch it? Simple as that. I edit that section here. I have to invite or add existing learners. So I invite them with that link that I either post on my Canvas page or I simply email it to them. Somehow I get them to click that link. They click that link, they create an account, they're in the club, or they click that link, simply log in because they already have an account and they're in that club. Super easy. I can manage learners by adding people that I already have in my organization. Select save. Now I've got learners in my gradebook. They've got things assigned to them to take in this new class. I can download the CSV of the gradebook. I wonder what that looks like right now with nothing in it. It's going to open Excel here in a minute. I think it's taking its time. There you go. There's my current gradebook, and he did not separate my first name, last name columns. I got to get him to do that quick. But you can see pretty straightforward stuff. If I'm going to import that to Canvas or something, I delete that top column and I'll just tell it what columns make what sense. I might have to separate this really quick into 2 columns. But anyway, inviting learners, managing learners, emailing learners that you already have in your organization, downloading CSVs. I can edit their scores. And as a matter of fact, I did want to show you from a student perspective. You just log out. I'm going to log in as a learner. So now I'm logged in as a learner. This learner happens to be associated with 2 different organizations. So I got to pick which organization I'm, it might be my high school and it might be my community college. Go to my company name. Hey, look at this. I can switch organizations between those 2, but here I am in this organization. I have all of this stuff assigned to me, and I need to, if I view this course, you can see, hey, oh, I messed up that first attempt, but I passed that other attempt. If I sign out, and I'm going to sign back in as the organization administrator, and I'm going to go look at that course gradebook, and I can see that same student here didn't pass that module, but hey, that student did download those 2 modules, and hey, this student here, student 2, actually got everything done. Well, how did these labs get done? Because the yellow means the student downloaded it. No attempt means this student did not download it. This green one means that me as the teacher went in and graded it. I have to edit their score. I have to manually grade a lab. Student doesn't get to grade their own lab, right? We're going to have to grade it for them. So this student got an 87, save. Come here, they got this other lab they had to do. Oh, they did a good job. I got 90 on that one. We save it. Now, if I sign out as the organization administrator, if I go in as that student, I'm still failing. I have to retake this module. We're going to go in as learner number 2 for a second. So I'm going to sign out, sign in as learner number 2. Learner number 2, hey, learner number 2's got all this weird stuff going on. What's happening? Oh, hey, gas metal arc welding badge, because the Miller course is assigned to them to earn that Miller gas metal arc welding credential. Cool. What happens if I click on that? Hey, these are all the things that you need to do, and you've already completed these ones. Somewhere along the lines in your other organization, you've completed these things. So Miller, we're going to go ahead and start giving you credit for it. But as far as company name goes, you still got to complete the work. So double assigning things still means you got to do the job here. But the Miller badges, we will search for, seek, and award a Miller credential if you as a teacher happen to assign all of the required modules to take that. And I'll show you that in just a minute where to see those, which ones are required. Certainly they're here because they're listed on this, but you can see I've taken ARC transfer modes there, and that gave me credit. But also if I switch my organization as this learner, in my other organization, oh, hey, look at that. I've started to take other things that gave me credit for things. And this student may have also taken credit in another area, and they still have credit for it, even though it was disabled. So we seek and award the Miller certificates. But as a student learner and as an instructor creating a course, when I view this course, Hey, look at that. I completed all of these required things for that course. I passed them according to my teacher, and hey, I was awarded a certificate. I can download that certificate now. Hey, look at that. It automatically put their name in. It put the name of the course in. It put the description of the course. It put your organization name, and it put a date that the last course module was completed and passed. So this is the generic certificate of completion that comes from you, from the courses that you build. The Hobart and Miller certificate adds, instead of company name, we go ahead and say ITW Welding, Miller and Hobart, and we have the open book logo in the corner, and we're not going to assign, we're not going to put our Miller and Hobart logos or open book logos on your courses simply because we don't know what you're doing. You could make a quiz about who knows what, and it could be very inappropriate, and our name is not going to be associated with that. So that's kind of how we lock down a generic certificate of completion for the courses that you create versus the canned certificates of completion that Miller and Hobart have created. Lot to talk about. I could spend another hour plus giving you guys all kinds of tips, tricks, ins and outs of open book. But what really I encourage you to do, you can't screw up open book. The only thing you can do to screw up open book is if I log in as an organization administrator and I go in as an organization administrator and I edit my role, and if I uncheck those boxes, I just totally, I no longer have an organization administrator. My account's dead. You're going to have to get us to hire our developer to find you and get you back active again. So that's the one thing you could screw up, is deleting yourself. The other thing that you could screw up, well, theoretically that you could screw up, is if I select edit course, this course we just built today, and I select permanently delete the course, hey, it's going to delete it and everything all with it. Can't be undone. Hey, delete it. Are you sure you want to do that? Yep, you did it. We didn't do that, right? So anything with a red X, basically if I come back here and I go to here and I want to manage learners, see that red X? That means I did something. And if I remove this learner, I remove that learner from this course. And when I save it, it can't necessarily be undone. That's the only things that you might do that can't be undone, is when you're dealing with deleting something. Otherwise, open book is just click. What happens when I click? I'm just clicking around randomly right now. I'm just trying to see, oh man, changing roles? Hey, that's probably pretty important, right? Maybe I shouldn't click there too egregiously, right? The about button, remember that video Steve showed you? It's right here in that about button if you ever need to use it again. Help button again, this quick start guide, quick little PDF, shows you how to get your account started. All these help questions, in many cases, it is the same question on both sides, but it can pretty quickly help you find where you might be stuck. If you're stuck in open book and you've gone through these help things and you've tried everything, this contact us form, I'll open that in a new tab quick. On this contact us form, be sure to select, accidentally zoomed, sorry. Be sure to check open book assistance. If you select open book assistance and complete this form, give us as much detail as possible, possibly even copy and paste your URL from the problem area. This URL up here in your browser bar. That is very important information for us to try to figure out a potential problem. But in that contact us forum, give us as much detail as you can, fill it out, and that'll get routed to people that can try to help as fast as possible. You'll probably get a default reply based on your question. It might say, hey, check the help page. Well, now you've opened a nice dialogue. You can reply back with some screenshots and more information to help us out. But typically we're going to probably default you to check out the help page, simply because, and we'll probably put in there, I need some more information, but try these first, right? So, but please use that form to contact us. If you try to hunt Steve down or me down or Alex or Willie, you know, we're all as you know, we're all tied up in things, and you're probably going to get your answer faster if you use the contact us form. Because a lot of times Willie and Steve, they'll probably have to hunt someone down too. So contact us form's the most efficient way to get help after trying it, after just clicking and trying it first, but also using these help things. Another quick thing, Google Chrome. Google Chrome is the number one tool to use. If you use other internet browsers, we might have problems. And again, this download module times and descriptions link. My last little piece here, 4 pages. This tells you the play time for every category of modules and individual modules. And that's the play time. So there's additional time in between hitting next and in between answering questions. And if I continue to scroll down, got a little bit more of that generic explanation about the pre-curated courses. And these are what are the modules that we've added into those pre-curated courses. So again, if you happen to assign all of these modules in multiple course sections or multiple courses, we see and recognize you assigned all those, you're eligible to earn a Hobart badge, regardless of what organization has assigned you all of those individual pieces. It's an industry credential we wanted to award people that used OpenBook. And you can choose to do it straight up by selecting it as a course. You can choose to assign all the items, or you can choose to not assign them and they don't have them. So totally up to you. Covered a lot. Steve, I'll turn it back to you.
That's perfect. That's so just a high level before we open it up for questions. I mean, OpenBook is, as you can see, it can be overwhelming, but it is very easy to use. Once you get on this page, you register and get on here, you're really just creating a course and creating a section of students and inviting students and then evaluating their scores and using those scores either in your own Canvas or your own LMS system as well. So it's pretty straightforward. So we think it's a great tool. And again, it's free. We encourage you to go out and register and just start clicking on things like Nick said. Start looking at some of those modules, see if things make sense for your particular curriculum to use this to support it. So I'm going to open it up. I didn't see anybody chatting during the presentation, but if you have any questions, unmute yourself, ask the question, and we'll see if we can answer those questions in the next 8 or 9 minutes, because then we'll have to close down the session. Are there any questions?
I did see a question that says, can this be used for junior high students if they are at home and do not have welding machines? Well, theoretically, yes, but our terms of use policy, I believe, if you are under the age of 13, you violate terms of use and privacy and all the crazy things that go around that. So technically, we really want this limited to high schools. But in theory, I believe, and you need to double check the privacy policies with regard to age limitations, and I'm pretty sure it cuts off at 13 years old, if I'm not mistaken. So that was Donald asking that, and hopefully that helps. I see another one. Do you know if the learners could use iPads? Absolutely, you can use iPads, and you can use Android devices and tablets, and any device works. Again, we recommend Google Chrome, but on an iPad, Google Chrome actually is nothing but Safari with a Google Chrome faceplate. So food for thought there. Apple doesn't let you do anything else. So pointless to have Chrome on an Apple device. But it works just fine in Safari on iPads, and it works excellent in Chrome on any device.
Nick, could you just show kind of quickly how to put this into Canvas again?
The only thing I can tell you on Canvas is what I do is, oops, sorry, I accidentally hit the wrong button. I'm trying to get this darn Zoom window out of my way. So I created a page in Canvas. Okay. And I simply paste the links on that page and assign it to my students in a module. So there's a module, says homework module. In that module has this page. They click on these things, and it self-registers them in OpenBook.
So it's really just it's a communication. It doesn't transfer data into your Canvas or any other type of LMS. it's basically just a communication for your students based in Canvas or any other.
Correct.
LMS.
Or any LMS. It's basically, yeah, you're using your school's LMS system to host the self-enrollment link. Then secondarily, you're going to need to export the gradebook from OpenBook, and then you would have to import it into your Canvas gradebook or your LMS gradebook. And that's all on you and your IT. Simple as that. I see another question.
Nick,
Yep.
yeah, Marty Mangan. Beaumont High School is expanding rapidly. It's the largest growing city in California right now, or fastest growing city. They're crazily expanding from about a little over 3,000 students to, believe it or not, 5,500.
Wow.
It's nuts. They just don't have a place to build another high school. They have other better solutions, but they're going to add another 2-story building with 2 shop facilities. And they have a first-class manufacturing program with 3 Haas machines right now. And I'd like to have them add a complementary welding program, state-of-the-art. What kind of help can Miller give us?
I'm not the guy to ask. That's a conversation for you and Mr. Steve Hidden and Alex or Willie.
So let's follow back up. If you're in Willie or Alex, is this individual in your territory?
Yeah, which one that covers Inland Empire?
Inland's going to be Ed Bogner. We should have probably had everybody on with the state.
Yeah. So let's let's try to follow up. I'll tell you what. If you could send me an email, steve.hidden, it's Hidden, like Hidden Valley. Steve.
Yeah, we're in the middle of getting ready for a workshop right now. I'm at martymangan@yahoo.com. If you just shoot me, I'll send you back the information.
Yeah, I didn't get your email. Is somebody on here have?
It's just martymangan@yahoo.com.
It's on his picture in the screen. I can send it to you.
Yeah, copy that out. Okay, yep. I'll follow back up with you, and we'll try to work something out.
Yeah, I'm interested. I'm on their committee to advise them, CTE committee, and I would really like to see a complimentary state-of-the-art welding program go in there.
Okay. And we'll follow back up with you after this meeting for sure. Appreciate it.
Okay, great.
So there was another question here another question was typed in. If I already have an admin for my organization and someone else created an account, not knowing that an organization already exists, are they going to be added as another admin or just an instructor? No, if they requested an account, and when we do our diligence to look to see if they're in fact an instructor at that school, and if we find that you already have your organization, that school already has an open book account, we deny their request and we tell them to contact their existing organization administrator to get their own access. So we try our best not to duplicate organizations. Now, flip side with that, you can do campus sites. So for example, Appleton, Wisconsin, there's Appleton North, Appleton South, Appleton East, Appleton West. And as opposed to having one giant Appleton account, they have 4 separate Appleton High School accounts, but then there's the campus site subheading. So Appleton, subheading West, Appleton, subheading North, etc. So they manage themselves separate from each other, but they happen to have the same Appleton High School name, but they're at different campuses. So you can have multiple organizations via different campus sites. They are not tied together. The only way you would tie them together is if you happen to be an administrator or an instructor in all of those organizations. And that back to that kind of switch organization button, if you recall on my screen, where you can see I can switch between. So I would be able to switch between Appleton North, South, East, and West. I can't transfer my grades. I can't transfer my courses. I can't transfer anything between organizations.
Sorry to interject, but
we're
running out of time, so I have to end this.
No worries.
We have 1 minute. So yeah, if anybody has any questions, again, my email address is steve.hidden, like Hidden Valley, at Miller Welds. That's MILLERWELDS.com. Just send me a quick message and I will connect the right person to you. So we appreciate you guys listening. Hopefully this is the valuable tool and you'll be able to use it in the future. So we appreciate you attending.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank
Thanks
you,
a
everybody.
lot. Appreciate it.